like to welcome you to a Raised on Real Estate podcast. That's right. Greg Angelo with you on a weekend. It's about Saturday afternoon, and I don't know if I'm going to finish this one by Saturday. It could be Sunday, but we will get it done. I'm going to tell you that right now. It is great to be back with you all on the Roar podcast. It kind of sounds like we are moving up the roller coaster ride here, folks. It's gonna get high. Just gotta hold on. Here we go. Don't let go. All right. We'd like to welcome you all to the platform. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about some things that's been going on this past week with our Mindset Motivation Call. You're like, Greg, it sounds like a repeat introduction. It could be. But what is interesting is that those of you who checked out my last podcast, just don't worry about it. That's pretty much all I was talking about is worry, and the issues that we deal with. So after that, we had our Thursday Mindset Motivation Call, Brock Vance Mindset Motivation Call. And Christian leads that on Thursday, and he was talking about the desert, being in the desert. I don't know how many of you have actually been in the desert before. I haven't. I haven't even been to Vegas. Some of you have been there. I have not. I haven't walked in the desert sand. Talking about walking in the desert and looking for what it is that you need to find and how far you're going to go to get it. You're going to just maybe go a few steps and turn around and go back? Is it too hot? Is it too sandy? Is it too grainy? What is it? Or are you going to keep pushing forward until you get to an oasis? Because there is an oasis in the desert, but you don't know exactly where it is. You got to keep looking for it. If you don't have any water, you had a camel took off, just you now. Got that bandana thing on your head and you're just trucking through the sand. And you know how hard it is to walk through the sand because it's like going through like dry quicksand, right? It's like you take a step and it's like pushing you back and the sand grains are getting inside your shoes or in your sandals, or you got to take them off and then you just got to be barefoot and just keep walking. You know the sand ain't cool. And either is the temperature out there in the desert, it's cranking probably over 100-something degrees. So what are you going to do? You're just going to sit back. You're just going to turn around. You're going to roll back down some of those sand hills to where you started. This is just too much for me. I can't handle it anymore. Well, that's not what we're talking about on the Mindset Motivation Call, folks. We're talking about pushing forward. We kind of call it the grinding. And it's not about phone calls you make. It's not about being up at 7 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it is. Some are getting up at 5. Some are giving up at 6. And then you start your day. And then you work. You're doing your real estate biz. You're doing your mortgage biz. You're doing your sales biz. I know some people are online all day doing their Bitcoin. That could be fun. But that's not grinding. That's working. Grinding is all the stuff that you do when nobody sees what you're doing. If you're out in the desert and ain't nobody around you, that's grinding. Because every single grain of sand is like work that you're doing. But you keep working through it. You keep going through it. That's the intro of this one. This is my introduction. Because when Christian was talking about walking through the desert, trying to accomplish your goals to get what you want to go, my mind went directly to who we are inside of us. The theme of this one is, are you a desert or are you an oasis? What does that mean? It's kind of like convoluted, Greg. It's kind of like cryptic, kind of sardonic, kind of crazy. Well, you got to think of it in a different perspective. There are a lot of things that people are doing in their lives that are adding value to other people, including themselves and their family and everybody else. And there are those that they're not. They're not moving. They're sitting back. They're on the sidelines. They're way in the back. before the desert start, and they're looking up that hill and like, man, I don't know. I don't like it up there. I ain't going in that direction. I'm just going to sit here and just stay here. Ain't moving. I know things will get better if I just stay here because it's very complicated over there. And if I go over there, man, it's going to be painful. I don't want none of that. So that's the way that you need to look at it. I'm looking at it from this way, from the mindset of what is going on inside of you. And I want to start telling you, I want to encourage you, I want to press upon you that you need to be an oasis. An oasis is life, living, water, plants, vegetation, photosynthesis that's happening from the sun and the water, and things are growing. That's what's going on inside of you if you're an oasis. But if you're a desert, it's dry, sandy, grainy. Not much happening in there. You ain't bearing any fruit. So what do we got to do about that? What are some of the things that you need to do in your life that is going to get you to, one, change from being a desert and the desert thinking into an oasis thinking of livelihood, creativity, movement? Brock on the Mindset Motivation calls, he used to talk about whether or not that are you in a rocking chair? What does that really mean? You can picture it. Picture it in your mind. What does a rocking chair look like and who's sitting in it? Well, usually if you go back to the old stories, it's some really nice lady and she's kind of old and she's got the hair up in a bun and she's got a little, she got her outfit on and she's sitting there reading a book or whatever she's doing, or maybe she's doing her crochet and she's rocking back and forth. Or it's a gentleman. He's got the cap on. He's got like an older, I kind of see it like he's got like a brown shirt. He's got the corduroys and he's sitting in the rocking chair and maybe he's got a wooden pipe, kind of older guy, kind of wrinkly, gray hair. And he's doing the wood, right? He's chipping at the wood. That's what he's doing. Maybe he's making another pipe. Maybe he's doing something else, but he's rocking back and forth in the rocking chair. And where do you think they're going? Nowhere. They ain't going anywhere. They're just rocking back and forth, whittling on my wood, and I'm crocheting with my crochet. Gonna make myself a little sweater. Maybe make some gloves because winter's coming and it's going to be cold. Well, that's true because summer's just about to end here, folks. Labor Day is going to be here in about a week on September the 5th. And you know what happens? Everything starts changing. School. I mean, my son is back to school now. He's in his second week, and most people down here in North Carolina, Charlotte Metro, and all around the region, school is starting on Monday. That's the public school. And life sets in. All those times have changed from the summer. The time that you get up, the alarm clocks now are going from maybe that 7:30 to 5:30. And gotta be a lot of grumpy people dealing with that. Gotta be getting up at 5:30. Gotta have everything ready for my kids. Gotta make sure the lunch box is done. You gotta have the lunch and all the stuff and everything that they need to go to school. And then they gotta get to the bus. Or, got to put them in the car, and you got to take them there. Take them to school. And you can't be getting up at 7:30 to be doing that stuff because most of these kids are getting in school, and they got to be in, and the bell is ringing at about 7:20. And they got to be up and at them, and they got to be having their breakfast, and they got to get their clothes on. They got to make sure their shoes on the right feet because my son kind of switches them around. I'm going to tell you that right now. I look down and I go, Isaac, what's going on with your shoes? Nothing, Daddy. Well, do you know you got your left on your right and your right on your left? No. I like them that way. No. Daddy doesn't like them that way. Mommy doesn't like them that way. And I'm pretty sure the teacher's not going to like that your feet with your shoes ain't right. Because the big toe's got to go inward, not outward. Oh, okay. So then he's got to take them off. He's got to do them again. This has been going on for about 2 years now, and he's 7 years old, and he's still switching them around. I'm sure one day he'll get it, because then some kid is going to say, hey, Isaac, how come your shoes are on backwards? And he's going to go, no, they're not. And then he's going to turn around and run into some place, and he's going to switch them and come back out. And he will never do that again. Because when another kid embarrasses you, It's like, I'm not going to go through that again. But mommy and daddy, he ain't worried about it right now. People, you got to understand that life is about to change a lot differently now that summer's over and spring is coming and everyone's thinking about Labor Day's over. Got to get back to school. Work is going, getting the grind, and there's more people on the road. There's more traffic on the road. The buses are on the road, and you know how they drive. If you're in front of them, you better watch out because they're going right through. They're going to plow right through you. They ain't going to be stopping because you're slow. You better get out of their way. And then you know the yellow lights are flashing, and then that red stop thing comes out, and the red lights are flashing, and everyone's got to stop. Got to wait for those kids to get on the bus. And some of them are kind of pokey. Some of them are kind of slow. And you're like, man, when is this? How many are back there? There's always a late trailer running. He's got his backpack laying on the ground, and he's running, and the bus driver's going, you better get on the bus because we're taking off. And his mama's going, go, Jimmy, go, Jimmy, go. And everybody's waiting in line. Cars are all backing up. People are getting aggravated. Aggravated because Jimmy's taking his sweet time to get to the bus, and no one's moving until the bus, those lights go from red, from yellow, and that's it. Door closes, and everybody takes off, and Jimmy's in his seat, heading out to school. Well, that could be 10 minutes waiting for that. And then you go about another mile or two, and there's another bus. Goodness gracious, I got to figure out another route because I ain't going to be sitting here every morning at 6:15 doing this. Like, what time do the buses come through? And maybe if I leave earlier, I'll miss them. Maybe if I leave at 7, like, no, if I leave at 7, then I'm going to be late bringing the kid to school, or I'm going to be late to work because there are more people on the road. Okay, that's my rant about school starting and life getting back to where it was. Think back a year ago in September. That's what we're going to be facing. And those of us in the real estate business, we got to be holding on because we just saw what in the world was going on with the Fed on Friday and the stock market. My goodness. It's like a 5-alarm fire and add about 15 more fire trucks in it because the stock market has no clue how to handle what is going on with the Fed's decision and these basis points, and they're trying to slow down inflation. Well, we're just going to slow down the entire economy. Nobody buy anything. Everyone sit home and grump and complain about it. And then interest rates and the inflation rate is going to go down. Well, that's just a wonderful idea. In the meantime, the stock market is crashing. People ain't happy about it. Now you're going to be dealing with that. Monday morning, this coming Monday, is going to be a little irritating for a lot of people. Because a lot of them probably haven't checked their 401k or going on. I haven't looked in my account. I ain't looking at it right now. You're dealing with all this stuff. So how are you going to bloom? How are you going to be an oasis? How are you going to be thriving and being lively when all of these things are happening with you and you're trying to find a house and home prices are still high and you don't know what you're going to do? Should I move or should I stay or should I go? A lot of questions buyers are thinking. And the biggest issue are for home sellers. We know that. For sale by owners, we talked about it on the last podcast, that they're just bringing down the price tag until somebody comes along and makes them the offer that is going to be suitable, satisfactory. Probably not what they want, but that's what we're at because days on market is increasing. When you have more days on market, home sellers get irritated. They get nervous. And they start thinking, well, it's got to be my broker not bringing me an offer within 5 to 7 days. So I'm going to cancel that contract and I'm going to start all over with somebody new. Now we're going to do a better job. Those are the things that we're dealing with because we get a ton of withdrawal from our MLS every single day. So all of this stuff is happening. And you're trying to figure out how to navigate through it all. And my introduction earlier was talking about being a desert or being an oasis. And you know how difficult it is trying to be an oasis when things are tough. But you got to go beyond all of that stuff. You got to look beyond everything that is around you, and you got to focus on what's in front of you and what it is that you want to have in your life for you and your family and your goals. Because you got to write these things down. And quite frankly, you got to write down that you want to be an oasis. You can think about it, but you got to write it down. I want to be an oasis. I don't want to be a desert on the inside. Because a lot of things can change with you when you start thinking about the different way of who you are. Because there are a lot of deserts out there. There's a lot of desert people out there. And the oasis people, well, they got a whole different perspective. One of the books that we were talking about on Mindset Motivation Call with Bob Berg was The Go-Giver. A lot of people have read that book. And it ain't about taking, it's about giving. When you start looking at things from that perspective, like what are you going to give up? What are you going to give so that you can receive? Then you can start being an oasis. Because our circumstances are really not so much rooted in our what's going on directly within ourselves, but the circumstances are variables. They're in motion, okay? And we have the ability to change our circumstances once we change our mindset and start understanding that there is a way to move forward instead of sitting around in the sand. Reading books, listening to others, having a coach. And there may be some personal things in your life that you got to get a hold of, whatever it is. I mean, for me, I was an alcoholic for many, many years. There is no way I could be doing what I'm doing today if I continue to be living my life as an alcoholic. No way. I had to make a change. And I said before in the other podcast that, that faith in your life is so important. It's very important about centralizing your life with people around you and being a person of faith, praying to God for things to change and for you to change, because it's hard to do it on your own. Think about those things. You can picture what an oasis is, and you know what a desert is. So what do you want to be? Do you want to be a desert on the inside? Do you want to be an oasis? It's like, Greg, you keep saying it. I know I am. But this is one of the things that we are doing with our Mindset Motivation Call, and also with what we're doing with our team with EXP. It's just not about transactions. We're working on life-changing things. Life-changing things. Because what we're doing every day, instead of once a week or once a month, is making changes in people's lives about what they're hearing, or the books that we're telling them to read, or getting on a prayer call, or surrounding yourselves with other people who are going to motivate you and start growing that oasis that's inside of you. Because there is an oasis inside of you. You haven't tapped into it yet. You know that there's a spigot out there somewhere, and you know you've got a hose to connect to that faucet, and you got to connect the faucet to the spigot with the hose, and you got to turn it on. But you got it in there. You just got to find it, and then you got to start doing the connections, which we're talking about with the readings and the motivation and talking to people and getting on Mindset Motivation Calls and having a vision in front of you about where you want to go, and then you direct that, you connect that hose to that spigot, and you start turning it on. Slowly, slowly, slowly. You don't want to be whipping it up, and then all this water starts gushing out and everything gets flooded. We're talking about consistency. And that analogy is what some people do because they're all trying to hit a home run. I want to land the big fish. I want to get the big deal. I want to get the $1.5 million, and all the other stuff isn't important. Well, yes, it is. Because you ain't the only one going after that $1.5 million. There's a lot of other ones, and they've been grinding a long time. And when they get inside that house, it's going to be sit down, write it up, put it on the market, and you're still trying to figure out where the property is, and I'm on my way. Nope. Already picked a realtor. Thank you so much. Those are the things that we talk about on having the skill sets to get into that property and close the deal on a 1.5 or whatever it is when you have 15 other agents just trying to figure out if I should make that phone call. How many of you out there make phone calls to $1 million expired listings. Do you see a 5 in front of it? Do you freak out? Like, oh, ain't no way I'm calling that number. I don't know what's going to happen when I call. I mean, what are they going to say? I mean, they're millionaires. I don't know. Why don't you pick up the phone and call them? Because other people are calling them. Other people are sending them material. Some people are knocking on their door. And that's cool. Now, they may have gates. It may be kind of troubling to try to get in there. You ain't going to be jumping over the fence. You ain't going to be doing that. All the alarms are going off. You're going to get arrested. Forget about that one. But you can send something to them. Absolutely. Do we have stuff about that? Talk about that? We do. You know what it is? Send out cards, folks. We got some send out cards. You can send a really cool card to that $1 million home. You can take some pictures of that home, or you got their names. You know where they live. You know who they are. And I bet they got a Facebook page. You can take some of their stuff from their Facebook page and you can write them a nice card and mail it to them. And then pick up the phone and call them. That is Oasis work. Because the people that are doing those things and advancing their skills are slowly turning on the spigot, and the water is slowly coming out, and then you've got the vegetation, you've got growth, everything is growing, even like a bamboo. I mean, you don't get a bamboo growing like in a week. It takes years. Slowly. That's what it is to be in an oasis. It's called consistency, moving forward, and not looking back. Because as you continue to go through that desert, there's an oasis, but you got to get through the desert, you got to get through the pain, and the pain is going to be good for you because you know that at the point that you've been through, you're going to go, I can't believe that I've went through all of that, and now here I am. Nobody can believe where I was 2-3 years ago, in debt, not making any money, car repossessions, all kinds of things going on, not even thinking whether or not I should continue to stay in real estate. That's a mindset you got to get rid of and start looking at what is the oasis going on around you, because things are thriving, things are coming alive, and it is an extension of yourself, and people are looking at it and they are gravitating towards it because they see life. You don't see people sitting around the middle of a desert, hanging out, having a party. They're all sitting around where the oasis is because there's water, there's food, there's vegetation, there's life, there's birds, there's animals, there's everything is there. I'll build a home here. Ain't that much fun building a home in the middle of the desert around nobody. Don't even have internet. That's really what I wanted to lay down with you today. Lay down about what it is on the inside of being Oasis. And we're going to have more of this for you. We're going to have more on this topic because we're going to talk about it. We talk about this stuff every single day, Monday through Friday, 8:15 to 8:30. And we're going a little bit longer. Doesn't end right at 8:30 or 8:31. It's okay because we got more people joining us. Facebook Live and Zoom. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be going with the YouTube because that is the right way to go. So that's what I have for you today. I really appreciate all of you. Check out the last one I just did. Just don't worry about it. A lot of good stuff on that one. And this all kind of tails in together. This is what we're doing. It's every single day. Just because whatever you do in your life, it's the other things that are in your life that are advancing you. What does that mean? Mean that work isn't all it's about. Your goals of your job are one thing. Goals of your life are another. If you're thinking about what you want to do for a job or how you want to advance your career in real estate and you're sitting in the middle of the desert, you ain't going very far. You got to have some life-changing going on with you. And that life-changing is on the inside as an oasis. All right. Appreciate you. Fantastic. Raised on Real Estate. This is my podcast. And you can find this. You're listening to it wherever you're listening to it now. You've got it. We've got it everywhere. iHeartRadio, Google, Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher, iTunes, and there's a bunch more. Deezer. They're all over the place. You're more than welcome to like those, or I'm going to have this up on my YouTube page. You can do that as well. And you can comment. Need to hear from you. Greg, you're crazy, and this stuff makes any sense to me, or you like it, and it does. I appreciate that. We're going to wrap this one up right now. winding things down. And thanks for being here. We appreciate you all. We'll talk to you real soon. For Raised on Real Estate, this is Greg Angello. We'll talk to you all real soon. Take care.